Hello all, welcome back. So today's session is going to be on accessing matrix elements in Python. So before going into the actual session, let us first learn what exactly is list concept in Python. So list multiple values or elements can be stored using single variable. This is called as a list. So we make use of list data type. It is a data structure where we store multiple values using a single variable. Okay, so how do we represent a list? Suppose if A is a list, it is represented using square brackets. 1, 2, 3 and 4 are the list elements. Okay, so this is how we represent a list. Now moving back to the actual concept, matrix. What is a matrix? It is the way in which we arrange elements in rows and columns. So that's why we make use of matrix concept. Okay, now how do we represent matrix? I can represent like this 1, 2, 3, 4, or we can represent like 1, 2, 3, 4 or 1, 2, 3, 4. There are three different ways where we can store matrix elements. In the first structure, the order of the matrix will be 1 cross 4, 1 row 4 columns. Second, 4 by 1, 4 rows 1 column, and the third 2 rows and 2 columns. So this is how we represent. See the representation of the list and the matrix, it is in the same form. So in order to, this is one dimensional array. So one dimensional array can be stored using, can be used using the list concept. Now in today's session I'll be teaching you how to read matrix elements which has different rows and different column values and print the same. So this is a concept that I'm going to teach you. So before performing any matrix operations, we should learn how to access matrix elements, which means reading matrix elements and printing the matrix elements. Okay, now my output, the output should be like, suppose A is the name of the matrix, output will have 1, 2, 3, 4. This is how we represent a matrix, a list. This is called nested list, list within list. It's called list within list. How many lists are there? There are 2 lists. So by inference, we can say this is the matrix element. This is how I need to store the matrix elements. First row, second row. First column, second column. The first row has the elements 1 and 2. 1 and 2. Second row, 3 and 4. 3 and 4. Just link these two structures. Okay. So the first list will have the first row elements. Second list will have second row elements. So there are totally 2 lists. Okay. So A is one list. Within that again I have 2 sublists. First row and second row. So this is called nested list. So matrix representation will be in this form. Okay. Now let me teach you the coding part. Before that, we'll learn how to access matrix elements. Suppose we have 1, 2, 3 and 4. The indexing will be A of 0 of 0, A of 0 of 1, A of 1 of 0, A of 1 of 1. A of 0 of 0 means the first row, 0th row, 0th element, 0th row, first element, first row, 0th element, first row and the second element. Okay, this is how we try to place the values of the matrix and retrieve the values of the matrix in the same order. Now let me teach you the coding part. Okay, it's the Python code to read and print matrix elements, which is very much required for you to understand how exactly matrix works. Okay, now let us make use of a variable r that represents the number of rows. So we need to have number of rows and number of columns. So let me declare r as a variable which reads the number of rows from the user. How do we write? Int input enter number of rows. So whatever value is read will be converted into integer data type. Okay, it is data conversion that is done. Then we declare C int input enter number of columns. So R will have the number of rows, C will have the number of columns. Then we use one more variable A, this is matrix, and it is initially empty. There are no elements within the matrix. So this is how you represent an empty matrix. Okay, now for the first, there are two for loops. Okay, let me teach you the first for loop for I in range of R. First we are going to traverse the rows and collect the elements and store it in the matrix. So I am going to read the first row, fine, then read the elements and put it in the matrix. So the first for loop will point to number of rows. It accesses the rows. Okay, within that we are declaring one more matrix element B which is empty. I'll tell you why this is required. After that, there's one more for loop for J in range of column. Elements within each row, which means the columns. We are going to read the columns. Okay. Now, within that, I'm going to read one value after the other. Value is equal to int input using format operator F. I'll tell you why. Enter A of curly bracket I close curly bracket J. Fine. Colon, give space, double quotes, close the brackets. Okay. Now, after reading the value, which means now each and every time, first row, first column value I have to read. So it will read one particular value. Where it will store? It will go to A of I of J. Even when I is equal to 0, J is equal to 0, A of 0 of 0. Okay, that will be the output. So the value that you enter will be stored in value variable. Then what do? I append B dot append. I am storing the value into matrix list. I am storing it in list. Then after the for loop, after this for loop, after reading all the column elements, first row all the column elements, finally we append A dot append of the first list to the main list. Fine. Then finally, after reading every row and column elements, we finally print the matrix elements. So this is the part of the code for reading and printing the matrix elements. Fine. Now let me trace the code. It will be very easy for you to understand. Okay. Now for example, my R value is equal to 2. After the first line, R is 2, C is equal to 2. I am taking a square matrix. R is equal to 2, C is equal to 2. Okay. Then after that A. Now A will be empty. Fine. Trace 1. Coming here, what is I value? I will range from I value from 0 to what is R? 2. So from R 0 to 2. Then B. B is also initialized with empty. It is put as empty here. Then it will come to the innermost for loop. Now J is equal to 0. 2 column is 2. Now we are entering what is value? Value. Suppose I enter 1 as the input. Okay, in the output you will get enter a of 0 of 0. Now if I enter 1, it will be stored in value variable. And where exactly am I appending? We are appending in b dot append of value. What is current value? It is 1. So it will go to this position, it will add 1 here. This is a list. B is a list. So the first value entered will be stored in the list. After this line, it will go back to the innermost for loop. So what will happen? Now j value is equal to 1 to 2. So it is within the range. It will enter. Now again it will ask to enter a of 0 of 1, I of j. So I will point to the first row, j will point to the column elements. Now if I enter 2, value is equal to 2. Okay, now what will happen after this? When I enter value as 2, it will go b dot append, where it will get appended? Second one. Then j is equal to 2, it is not within the range, it will exit out of the innermost for loop. Then after this for loop, the next line is a dot append. Now what we are doing? We are appending the list b into a. Now it will go 1 and 2 list will be added. It is a list. I am appending the list into one more list. So the list is getting appended here. Fine. 1, 2 will get appended. Now after that, after this line, the control will go back to the outermost for loop. So iteration 2. What is I? I value is incremented to 1. Range is between 2. Fine. Now it will come inside. Now again, B value is an empty matrix. Why am I giving here is the previous value of B should be replaced. If we do not give B here, if I give before the for loop, we will be appending the values, the new values of B matrix as 1, 2, 3 and 4. So each time after reading the first row elements, we have to flush the new matrix B matrix. That's why we are putting the B matrix within the for loop, the first for loop. Okay. Now what will happen? B is again an empty list. It will come inside. Now again j is equal to 0 to 2. Value, suppose we enter 3. 3 will be appended here. It will go back. Now j is equal to 1 to 2. Suppose if the value entered is 4. Okay. 4 will be appended here. Okay. And if j is equal to 2 to 2, it is out of range. It will come out. It will go to, now it will append 3 and 4 to A. So this is the second list. After reading, the innermost for loop reads one list and appends it into the outermost list. Then again it enters, reads one more list and stores it in the matrix, the main matrix. Fine. And it will go, now the control goes back to the third iteration where I becomes 2 to 2. It is out of range. It will come out, which is the last line printing the matrix elements. So this is the final matrix elements which will be the output. Fine. This is how you read and print the matrix elements. I hope you understood the video. Thank you.